Welcome back, everyone, to Neuroalchemy with Dr. Sarah, a Neurosynergy podcast, where we explore the bridge between the nervous system, the soul, and the art of becoming. I'm your host, Dr. Sarah Young. Here on this show, we define every term as if you're hearing it for the very first time, because clarity builds safety, and safety opens the door to more healing. Today, I'm joined by a very special friend who is dear to my heart, someone whose work is deeply meaningful to me, Mike Williams, a veteran, healer, lyricist, and the creative force behind the Harmonetics Project. Mike's life journey spans combat medicine, profound inner truths, grief, reconstruction, and a dedication to healing that is soft, grounded, and deeply compassionate. His story blends science, emotion, and the kind of wisdom that could only be learned by being present with suffering, tenderness, and transformation. Mike, I'm grateful to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Sarah, thank you so much for having me.
We'll be talking today about trauma and invisible wounds. For someone hearing these ideas for the very first time, how can you define trauma in clear, everyday language?
Trauma is nothing more than pain that lives inside your soul.
That other people can't see. When you speak about reconnecting with the nervous system, how would you describe what a regulated nervous system feels like?
The foundation is breath. That is the foundation. And through this, we can better see and observe the things around us. So simply by feeling the earth underneath your feet and taking a breath, that's where it starts. And from that foundation, we can align the rest of the body. I do have a song for this. If you'd like to, I believe you have it, don't you?
Absolutely.
Between breaths.
Yes,
I'd
let's
love
do
to be
it.
able to share that.
Let's do it.
When the noise gets loud and the heart runs fast, I close my eyes and let one moment last. 4 beats in like a gentle tide, 6 beats out, let the edges slide. There's a doorway made of quiet air, a tiny choice that's always there. Between each inhale and exhale is a small choice, and with enough small choices, just forget your name. Keep calm and carry, inhale, let the rest go free. I breathe in what I need, breathe out what isn't me. Breathe out what isn't me. I've been the captain of a crowded mind, waving down thoughts like planes in line. Air traffic control for a nervous system. Clear the runway, let peace land in them. I fasten my inhale, soften my sigh, and watch the storm roll off the sky. Between each inhale and exhale is a small choice, and with enough small choices, just forget your name. Keep calm and carry, inhale, let the rest go free. I breathe in what I need, breathe out what isn't me. Breathe out what isn't me. Breathe out what isn't me. Break, inhale the good. Exhale the nonsense. Between each inhale and exhale is a small choice, and with enough small choices, just forget your name. Keep calm and carry inhale. I'm lighter than before. I breathe the present in and breathe out the war. Just breathe by breath. I learn to be what I don't need leaves what I need stays with me.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Sarah, when I put that song together, it still makes me smile from the inside out. It just that's what I was going for on that. Thanks for letting me share.
That was beautiful. Listeners will also hear us talk about music as a healing tool. For beginners, how would you define music as medicine in a simple, non-technical way?
Music allows us to communicate far past words. It allows us to connect from an emotional place. I believe the most beautiful thing is we don't even have to share the same language because it's feeling.
I love that. Keep going.
I know I had the pleasure of collaborating with you on a song, and I'd love to be able to share that song. It's just a way that I can celebrate everything that you've done, everything you've accomplished, and the amount of people you touch, the amount of lives you touch. So I think you have a copy of Tree of Life.
Yes, and I have to say that music as medicine, for me, this song that we collaborated on, it is a form of medicine for me, and I'm excited to share it. This time I will remember to mute my mic.
We are light in motion, love becoming whole, shadow into sunrise, alchemy of soul. I was earthbound, feet heavy in clay, carrying grief in my bones every day. But deep in the soil, sorrow gave seed, the seed of becoming, the root of my need. The waters rose, the flood pulled me near, storms of rage and rivers of fear. But in the torrent I found a song. Tears became notes I had silenced too long. We are light in motion, love becoming whole, shadow into the sunrise, alchemy of soul. Invisible threads, the stars in my veins, light between atoms, breaking my chains. Every heartbeat a drum, every breath a prayer. The wound never mine alone, healing everywhere. A mirror of shards whisper, broken not enough, but mosaics of light turn the edges to love. Cracks became constellations in the night. I claim my reflection as sacred as bright. center, the lotus begins to unfold. Ashes to fire, grief into gold. I am not broken, I'm breaking open wide. The light shining through me can't be denied. I am sunshine, I am hurricane, rainbow and tornado, joy and pain, lover and fighter, shadow and flame, not opposites, just one and the same. We are magicians, creators of choice, alchemists rising, reclaiming our voice, to yield to the dark or choose the ascent, to see beauty in all, to love with intent. Earth is a classroom, we stumble, we rise, learning our truth with wide open eyes. Spirits and bodies, companions, a map, tools in our hands for the long journey back. In roots in the earth, heart in the stream, soul in the stars, awake in the dream. Harmony found, connection made whole. Hope is the alchemy, healing the soul. We are light in motion, love becoming whole. Shadow into sunrise, alchemy of soul. We are light in motion, love becoming more. Shadow into sunrise, alchemy of
I just love that. Every time I hear it, it just never gets old.
Sarah, you made that song very easy to write. It's a very pleasant task when I can hang music off beautiful words. So thank you for doing the hard part.
Oh, well, thank you. I had a lot of fun. I know I told you maybe before that when I was younger, I was very much into music and singing and writing music. And I really have had a lot of things that have kind of gotten in the way of that. And your presence in my life has really allowed me to re-enter that space. And I'm very, very, very grateful. More than words can say.
What I love so much about music is it's like we're kids again. And I got a brand new Tonka truck, and I'm inviting you over so we can play in the sandbox in the backyard with my new Tonka truck. And that's exactly the way I feel about music and being able to share, as far as your ideas. And it's also a challenge, but it's one that I just run towards. It is pure joy in my life.
What feeling would you say brought you into this space today? How are you feeling when you came in?
Once again, I'm reminded that technology has two edges to the sword. It can make our lives easy, and it can be quite frustrating. And once again, I found myself trying to figure out why I can't get something to work. And at the same time, I realized showing up, I wasn't going to show up frustrated. It's an opportunity to show grace. And that's how I showed up.
And what feeling do you hope our listeners will walk away with after hearing your music and your story today?
Peace. It's that simple. There's so much going on around us. There's so much noise. There's so much anger, getting thrown back and forth. If the one thing I can share with you and with the people listening is to come back to a place of foundation. So all that stuff's going to happen around us anyways. But you know what you can control, that's yourself.
Your path began in combat medicine. For listeners who may not know what that world is like, what did those early experiences teach you about being present with pain?
In the beginning, once I graduated Academy of Health Sciences and I became a combat medic, I deployed almost immediately. I deployed multiple times over 10 years. Pain initially was something that if you came up to me and you asked, hey, I'm in pain, the first thing I'd do is I'd grab for my bottle of Ranger candy. That's these bright orange 800 milligram Motrin pills. And so it's a very Western way of dealing with pain. Something hurts, here's something you can take so it doesn't hurt. And it's over the years that I served that I found there is so much more to pain in terms of something that a Ranger candy is not going to get rid of. And it shifted from Western medicine to what the true basis of pain is and healing. And that's energy. It's what you can give back to that person. It could be as simple as just putting a hand on their shoulder saying, hey, you'll be all right.
Embodied presence and resonance. That's what it reminds me of when you say the words. When you put your hand on someone's shoulder and you're really present with them, you're really embodying that presence of unconditional loving and support, and you do that in really beautiful ways. Was there a moment, even a subtle one, when your inner world shifted and your life began to take a different direction?
I remember this one time when I was deployed, the word I'll use is downrange. And I had a guy that got hit. And as a medic, I got about 5 to 10 minutes of insanity. Make sure that, we're out of the range of bullets, or at least behind something that the bullets aren't going to get to us. And then stabilizing him, the patient, stabilizing my brother. So, checking for bleeding, breathing, bleeding, getting an IV started on him, calling for a medevac. And that's about 5 minutes of insanity. And after that, we're just looking at each other. And we're both got the same kind of expression on our face. Well, now what? And there's always that scary point where I could see them starting to shock out. Eyes become fixed, glassy. And it was out of creativity because I had nothing else I could do for this patient, for my brother. And I just rested my hand on their chest. And I was pushing everything invisibly that I possibly had into this guy, saying, hey, I got you. Just stay with me. I got you.
You carry a philosophy of no harm, only healing. Where did that originate for you?
I never wanted to harm anything from being a little kid. When I was going to college, I would stay up late or get up very, very early. I had a 4.0 GPA in biophysics, and see through me. I'm not that smart, but I worked my butt off for that. It was an old desk, and I had an old fluorescent bulb desk lamp. And this house, it was built in the 40s. It had the old louvered windows, and a black widow spider had crawled in, and I found that it made a web between my desk lamp and the wall. And I don't like spiders either, but I figured, he wasn't messing with me, or she wasn't messing with me. I wasn't going to mess with her. And I made a silent agreement. You don't bite me, I won't kill you. And so from a young age, or from a younger age, I never, ever wanted to lift a finger to harm anybody. But the healing is something that, through my service, and before I was a combat medic, I was a vet tech, healing has always been a part of my soul.
And I think you told me once that spider, it lived as long as you went your separate ways, right?
Yeah, well, it hung out with me for about a semester, and then I came in one time and she was gone. And I was a little bit freaked out, okay, because it's like, where'd she go? But after a couple of days, I realized that she'd moved on.
Yeah, you're a lot braver than I would be with a poisonous spider in my living space. My daughter was always the rescuer of all the bugs in the house. She's much older now. She's 24, and she still to this day is this way. So if she finds a spider or a venomous wasp or whatever it might be that would normally cause my nervous system to react, she'd say, "Mom, just calm down." And she'd get a cup, and she'd get a piece of paper, and she would wrap that up in the cup, and then she would throw the cup outside. So when we moved from one of the houses we lived at in Tennessee, you could see where she had cups all over the yard where she had saved so many bugs.
That's a beautiful heart.
What does healing look like when it isn't clinical or structured, but deeply human?
It's a flow. Easiest way I can describe it. Where I'm not sitting there handing you aspirin to take, when I don't need to take out a sharp object and stick it in your arm. But when it can simply be a flow between the two of us, or between the people that we're helping. It's an exchange. And the place where you really feel it is your gut. That's true healing.
For listeners who have never heard of music as therapeutic, how would you describe what sound does to the nervous system?
It goes back to a word that you use, Sarah, and that's resonance. It's through resonance, through frequencies, through vibration, that can truly heal. Now, I'll take you back to the field for just a second. When I was in Bosnia, I did 2 tours there. There's 1 million plus landmines on the ground. And unfortunately, we rolled over something that it detonated. And one of the guys on my team, he was unconscious. So I was calling for a medevac to get him out of there. And I was really concerned that he had some type of head trauma. And I was checking him very, very aggressively. His pupils were fine. He was just unconscious. And so the best I could, because we're worried about any type of cranial trauma, any type of head trauma, because if the medevac comes in and there's a head trauma, they need to stay under 5,000 feet. So if they go up higher, the pressure can complicate any injuries that individual will have. Well, they dusted him off. They picked him up. And though my baseline findings, I couldn't find any significant information that would make me think that he did have a hairline fracture in his skull. Well, it turns out he did. And that really really set me in a bad place. I didn't care about my ego. That's my brother, and he could die. And we were on patrol a couple of weeks later, and we passed by this little music store, and I had this idea. So I pulled the convoy over. It was just 2 vehicles, 2 Humvees. And I went into the music store, and I got a tuning fork. Because I knew that I'd probably be having to run the same play again. And sure enough, a month or 2 later, same situation. But this time, I had a tuning fork. And so my brother was laid out. He was unconscious. I took that tuning fork out of my aid bag, and I hit it. And then I took the bass, and I put it right here on his skull. This is the power of vibration. Because I know if there's a hairline fracture that I couldn't diagnose in the field, if I had a pain response, I knew that they were going to keep it under 5,000 feet.
So, did he have a pain response? Were you able to
He
get
did.
them to leave it under 5,000 feet?
And when I hand off to the flight medics, so I'm a field medic, I hand off to flight medics. That's the first thing I tell them is, expected a hairline fracture in the skull. They know what to do.
Mm. What does music unlock in someone that conversation alone sometimes can't touch?
What I love so much about music is I believe that it can express things that we can't in words, because there's so much more behind it. The feeling, the emotion, the vibration, and how that all comes together. After my multiple deployments, I found that I was not the greatest conversationalist. In fact, I didn't like to really talk at all. But I could communicate through my music, and that's what I used to unpack the things that I saw.
So this next question is about the Harmonetics Project. For our listeners out there who maybe have never heard of the Harmonetics Project before, can you tell me a little bit more about that?
In very simple terms, if you can breathe, move, and focus, anybody can do harmonetics. It's a way of aligning yourself.
Is there a moment from the Harmonetics Project that stays with you, a moment where you felt something shift?
The first time that I found myself fully grounded was my feet to the ground and making a connection, making this beautifully strong connection with the earth. That's when things really shifted for me. Because up until then, I was concerned I wasn't doing it right. And in order to really understand how to connect, you have to let go. And it's in that moment of surrender that I just found, oh my goodness, it's been here all along and I just haven't seen it.
Many listeners carry invisible wounds. How do you help someone meet their pain without force?
I believe it's imperative when you're looking to help somebody. It's to understand that it's not the words that you say. In fact, that's the least important thing. It's the space that you hold for them. So when somebody is in trauma, when somebody is in pain, to be able to just be in that space with them and let them eventually share what they feel comfortable with.
Embodied presence is what I think of when you say that. And then going back just a bit to when you were describing that powerful connection to the earth, you were describing the Schumann. Are you describing the Schumann frequency, right? The specific vibration of the earth that we're all connected to at a very organic level, but we don't always get in touch with it anymore because of the rubber on our feet, on our shoes, all the tires. So when you do the practicing with the breathing and the connecting with the earth, are you barefoot?
You don't have to be. In fact, you don't even need to be standing. You could be laying down. It comes down to the focus. And as it relates to harmonetics, the place on your foot that connects directly with the earth, that place on your foot is called kidney 1 in Asian medicine. And what you're connecting to, the battery, that's the biggest magnet we know. It's the core of the earth. The Schumann is the vibration.
Can you describe for our listeners where that kidney 1 is located so that if they wanted to check that out on their feet, they could maybe find it?
This is a very fun thing to do. It's best to be done standing up, but you can be sitting down. And it's very important that everybody understand that I'm not a doctor. I do not play one on TV. Okay? So if you do something and it doesn't feel right, don't do it. But sitting down where you're at right now, you just check in with yourself. You just take a breath. And as you exhale, where do you feel it in your body? And then on the next breath, just rock your feet forward until you feel just a little pressure on your toes. And as you exhale, rock your feet back till you feel just a little pressure on your heels. And as you keep doing this, breathing in, a little pressure on the toes. Breathing out till you feel just a little pressure on your heels. Draw your focus to where the weight shifts from the front of your foot to the back of your foot. And as you dial that in, see if you can find that place where you stand in complete equilibrium. Complete balance. Think about it like a seesaw that is completely aligned. You check in with yourself, you take a breath. And as you exhale, notice where you feel that breath. Now we're going to find kidney 1. From that balance point that you're on right now, take a breath in till you feel just a little pressure on the ball of your foot. And as you exhale, go back to the balance point. Breathing in, a little pressure on the ball of your foot. Breathing out to the balance point. Breathing in, you're going to find there's a place somewhere in between that just feels good. And when you find that, that's the place to stand. That is kidney 1. This is something that I'll make it clear there's never any race to find this location. If you don't take the time to find it, it's like building a skyscraper without a foundation. This is where it starts. And the fun thing is once you become aware of kidney 1, every step that you have is an opportunity to find kidney 1. And it's a place where you're aligning yourself, you're self-regulating, and you become much more present. You'll find even communicating with people is much deeper. It's much more significant.
When life feels heavy, what helps you personally reconnect with your own nervous system? It might be the thing you just described. I don't know.
Definitely kidney one is something that will help you reconnect. But it could be something so basic as giving your dog a hug, or just stepping outside and watching kids play. The most important thing is feel where it resonates in yourself. Feel a place of joy in what you can observe around you.
That's a perfect place to ask you this question. So if we offer somewhat of a challenge to our listeners to perhaps practice something each day, what might you suggest the challenge for this week be?
Gratitude. Simple gratitude. And there's a challenge behind this. If you get a registered letter from the IRS, how can you be grateful for that? But if you can show gratitude for something that, even if it isn't positive, when the good things that you will draw to you become much more profound, much more tangible.
It's like opening a doorway, right? To more opportunity for more blessings to make themselves known to us in our everyday life.
So right, Sarah. And it goes back to, if I'm upset and I interact with other people, there's a good chance that I'm going to attract other people that are upset. Where if I'm grateful, that's what I will attract. So that's where I'm very careful. We do get upset. People get angry, and that's fine. It's just to understand the impact that you have with the people that you're going to be talking to and interacting with. So gratitude is the place that I strive to live there the best I can.
Do you have a specific number or time that they might want to practice this each day?
I believe that when you open your eyes in the morning, it's the first thing you need to do. Just give thanks, even if it's just 3 things. Just be grateful for the dog snoring next to you that shouldn't be on the bed, right? A roof over your head, having heat, simple things. But to check in first thing when you open your eyes, throughout the day, to be able to notice just one new thing that you're grateful for, just one. If you do more than that, well, that's bonus points. The very last thing is you're closing your eyes. Just to find 3 things that you're grateful for.
I love that. I absolutely agree that gratitude, being in that consciousness of gratitude, can really set the stage, set the baseline for the whole rest of our day. So I love that you practice that both when you wake up to set the tone for the day and then at the end of the day as well. Your work models a different masculinity, one rooted in softness, truth, and presence. What helped you redefine what strength means?
From all the deployments I've been on, when you come home, you're tore up. You are completely tore up emotionally. And I served in special operations, and you can't afford to look broken. You can't be broken. I'd let the team down. And so I just found that through all those years of just getting tore up and having to put yourself back together again, there's certain things that are so easy for guys. Raising my voice, kicking in a door, I'm talking downrange, not in the States. Okay, I'm talking downrange. And I found that real strength comes from being able to talk quietly, being able to be gentle versus forceful. That's where the real truth is. And that's something I discovered after being in some of the most violent places.
How can men and anyone taught to be strong learn to let gentleness become a source of their healing?
I believe the best place to learn, and really the most honest judge you're ever going to have, is an animal. I found myself, a buddy of mine, he had this beautiful farm and he had horses. And I was so excited to go up and, say hello to a horse, because that's not something I'm around frequently. And when I came up, I showed up the wrong way. It's like, hey, that's a horse. Oh, look. No. And I realized I'm moving too fast. And what I was projecting was scaring that animal. So that one horse taught me to be gentle, be deliberate.
Can you tell us the inspiration behind the Harmonetics Project?
The Harmonetics Project has been a labor of love for Dr. Jeffrey C. Zimmerman for over the past 40 years. He's an Oriental medical doctor. He's also an acupuncturist. But being that he's an underachiever, he also played with the Royal Philharmonic, and he's been a musician on Broadway for Les Merrill. This has been his passion. This is his lifelong work. I've been honored to be able to study under him for the past 3.5 years now. And his whole goal, he has a very, very small objective here. It's to heal the world by teaching people to heal themselves.
When you look ahead, what do you feel called to create or express next?
I'm very excited to be able to blend my music with Dr. Zimmerman's Harmonetics Project. The overall goal is that you're just listening to music and you're moving to that music. The imperative is to get people out of themselves. Don't be like me when I started saying, oh, I'm doing this wrong. Why can't I feel, kidney one, these things. No. Listen to the music. Let's flow together. That's the next step.
If you could place one sentence directly into someone's heart, especially someone listening quietly, maybe in pain, what would you want them to receive?
In reflection to the topic on trauma, I'd ask to put the weight down, to let go of the burden. That's done by forgiving others, and most importantly, forgiving yourself.
How do you see creativity and healing intersect in your own life?
When I look around me, it's just through the simple interactions. With my pups, I can actually have a long conversation with my wife. And I'm there for that conversation. It's not a yes tier. But with the creativity, and this is the part where just through these beautiful interactions, that gives me fuel. And you know where I'm going back from there? It's going to be music. And it's a way that I can celebrate the people that I know and love around me.
What surprised you most about your healing journey?
I thought that I would be within Western medicine and that that's all there was to it. And I found that I missed a completely other side, the opposite of Western medicine, the Eastern medicine, and just the holistic modalities behind it. And I stumbled into understanding a lot more than giving you a Ranger candy.
What role does community play in personal transformation?
The people you surround yourself with show who you are and are a reflection. My friends and my family, I can brag about them all day long because I'm that proud to know them. There are some that, unfortunately, you won't connect with everybody. And some people come pre-built with trauma or anger. And that's something where you really need to be careful to protect yourself, because that energy, you can pick that up. And that's not only hurting them, that's hurting you. So the people, quality people, that's the key. And I know there's some people we're not going to be able to remove from the equation. That's why I give the reflection of making sure you're good. But most importantly, it's not responding to what's happening outside all the time, but it's reacting to yourself. Have that connection.
It reminds me to surround yourself with people that lift you higher and to be the one that always reaches down to lift someone else up. Tell me a little bit about, we have one more song and one more gift for our listeners out there. Can you tell me a little bit about this last song that we're going to play for them?
I set out with a small task. I wrote this just before 4th of July. And I wanted to take the Star Spangled Banner and I wanted to give it a gentle refresh. And I really wanted to point it back. The objective behind the song is pure reverence for this country that we live in. The fact that I might not have the same viewpoint as somebody else, but we can still talk as intelligent people, and we can still be friends. I'm missing body parts serving this country. My arms and legs are good. But this song, I really look to be able to just hopefully bring us back to a place that we can all agree we're Americans. It's the love that we have for this country.
Oh, can you see as the dawn softly breaks what we cherished with pride as the twilight dawn awakes with bold stripes and bright stars through the darkness and fight. By the walls we stood watching hearts lifted in light, and the rocket's red glow in the thunderous air bore witness through night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner still soar? Oh, the land we call free, and the brave we adore. On the shore, through the mist where the deep waters rest, where the foe still shadows lies, silently impressed. What is this that the breeze on the tall heights and steep gently stirs as it dances, revealing its key? Now it shines with the blush of the sun's tender beam, in its radiance reflected, it ripples and gleams. It's the star-spangled banner, may it wave evermore o'er the land of the free and the brave we evermore.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us today.
Sarah, I'm so grateful to be sharing this time with you. I really appreciate that. And my music. You know how much I love it. So thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing such a vulnerable, grounded, powerful conversation. Your story, your music carries a quiet strength that I know will stay with our listeners long after this episode ends. To learn more about the Harmonetics Project and Mike's work, all his links will be included in the show notes. Thank you for joining us today on Neuroalchemy with Dr. Sarah, a Neurosynergy podcast. I'm Dr. Sarah, and until next time, may you continue honoring your healing, listening inward, and becoming who you are meant to be. Bye, everyone.